Have you ever been in that spot where you really want to share what you've been up to, but you just don't have the words in another language? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to tackle that specifically in Armenian. We're going to cover all the essentials, from telling the time to making plans for tomorrow. You know, it seems like such a simple question, right? But talking about your day, that's how we connect with people. It's the everyday stuff that opens the door to real conversations. So let's dive in and break down exactly how you can start doing that in Armenian. Okay, first things first. Before we can talk about what we're doing, we need to know when we're doing it. So we're going to start with the absolute building blocks of time. Everything really does start with these three words. For the big concept of time itself, we say zhamanak. Now, when you're talking about an hour on the clock, it's a shorter version, zham. And a minute is rope. Listen to those again. Zhamanak, zham, rope. Getting these down is the foundation for everything else. Here it is, your first and maybe most important phrase. To ask what time is it, you just say inch, zham, It's short, it's simple, and it's super useful. Why don't you try it with me? Inch, zham, Perfect. And the answer? Well, it follows a really easy pattern. If someone asks you the time and it's 3 o'clock, you say yerek zhame. See how that works? You just take the number, which is yerek for 3, add zham, and you're done. You can do this with any hour of the day. All right, moving on to section 2, the parts of the day. We've got the hours, but now let's add some context. Are we talking about the morning, the afternoon, the evening? This is how we start to paint a real picture of our day. So let's walk through the day's timeline. Morning, when the sun's coming up and you're just getting started, is aravat. Noon, the peak of the day, is kesor. As things start to wind down into the evening, we call that yereko. And finally, when it's dark out, that's gisher. So you have aravat, kesor, yereko, gisher. It's like the 4 chapters of your daily story. And now for section 3, your daily routine. This is where the magic happens. We have the when, and now we're going to get to the what. We're going to take all this new vocabulary and put it into action, talking about the things we actually do. So let's begin our story in the aravat, in the morning. For most of us, the very first thing we do is wake up. So how do we say that in Armenian? Here we go, our first full sentence describing an action. To say I wake up at 7, it's yes zartnum em yot zhamin. Let's quickly break it down. Yes is I, and yot is the number 7. But the key part to notice is zhamin, which means at the hour. Keep an eye on that ending, you're going to see it again. Next on the list for many of us is heading to work. So to say I go to work at 9, you'd say yes gunum em ashchatank inu zhamin. Did you see that? The pattern is the same. We just swapped out the action and changed the number to inu for 9, but that zhamin ending is still there. So useful. And just like that, the day moves forward. Around kesor, or noon, maybe you grab lunch, and then later, in the yereko, the evening, you finally get to come home, kick back, and relax. See? We're telling a full story of a day now. Okay, on to section 4, planning your week. Talking about one day is fantastic, but let's be honest, we live our lives on a bigger scale. So let's zoom out a bit and learn the words we need to make plans, remember what we did, and look ahead. These 3 words right here are basically your personal time machine. For the past, yesterday is yerek. For the present, today is Aysor. And for the future, tomorrow is vage. Just listen to how they flow. Yerek, Aysor, vage. Past, present, and future, all right there. And of course, you can't plan a week without the days of the week. Now, I know this is a lot of new vocabulary at once, so don't stress about memorizing them all right this second. Let's just listen to how they sound. We've got Yerkashabti, Yurikshabti, Cherikshabti, Hingshabti, Urbat, Shabat, and Kiraki. The best part is, you can always come back here for a quick refresher. So how do we put these to use? It's actually really simple. To say today is Sunday, you just combine 2 words we just learned. Aysor, kiraki. You've got Aysor for today and kiraki for Sunday. Piece of cake.
And this is where it all pays off, making plans with people. To say, I will meet you tomorrow, it's yas kandipem kiez vage. And there it is, our word for tomorrow, vage, tucked right in at the end. That is a fantastic sentence to have in your back pocket.
Okay, section 5, time to practice. You've listened, you've learned the pieces, and now it's time to put them all together and make them stick.
This is where you come in. Let's say some of these key phrases out loud.
All right, let's lock these in. I'm going to say the phrase, and I want you to repeat it right after me. Ready? First, to ask the time, inch zham. Good. Next, to state the day, Aysor kiraki. Awesome. To talk about your morning routine, yes, zartnum yotzamen. And finally, to make a plan for tomorrow, yes, handupem kiz vaga. Fantastic job.
Now, I've got a little challenge for you, something to make all of this feel second nature. For the rest of today, every time the clock hits a new hour, just say the time out loud in Armenian. So when it hits 4 o'clock, you can just say to yourself, chorz zham. It sounds simple, but trust me, that kind of active practice is what really builds fluency.
And with that, we're going to wrap it up, but I want to leave you with one last question to think about and maybe even try to answer for yourself via inch es anilu, which means, what will you do tomorrow? Thanks so much for joining me today.